right. Hello, everybody. I love coming to you guys with this kind of stuff. This is another breaking news episode all about Starship. You gotta love getting this deep into the process. As they tentatively last time, I told you guys last time, tentatively they said that Friday, November 17th, this upcoming Friday, they were going to make a launch attempt pending all regulatory approvals. And that is why we're here right now, because boy oh boy did we get all of the approvals that we needed. Absolutely we did. As of this morning, Fish and Wildlife, I'm going to put the picture right here obviously, but Fish and Wildlife gave their approval. They submitted a 500-page report essentially talking about the impact of the water deluge system on local ecosystems, is tentatively what they were looking for. They had a couple of concerns I have written down right here. The concerns were they were concerned about an over amount of desalinization of water, which essentially is nixed based on their second concern. And their second concern was if placing treated water back into the ecosystem would affect natural habitats. What I mean by treated water is potable water, literally water that can be drank by us, by humans. They are using in the deluge system literal potted water or potable water, so it can be consumed by humans, which means it's treated with chlorine and other chemicals and such to make it safe for our own consumption. They were concerned that, obviously the deluge system is going to dump 350,000 gallons of water every time it goes off. So 350,000 gallons, they're concerned about where all of that water is going to go, and if the treated water heads into the natural wetland ecosystem of Boca Chica, Texas, what the result would be on the surrounding environment, essentially. They have today concluded that it is completely safe, that it'll be fine, and that, to be completely clear, about 92% of the water will be burned off by the physical flame of the rocket engine at ignition. Only about 8% will enter the ecosystem, and they said that they are clear, good to go, and have granted their approval to move forward into the process. In that, they did say that they thought that the water deluge system should be used about 30 total times a year, so that does limit how many launches they could do between all the tests that they do. Generally, for each static fire, they would do a deluge test. So that's 2 static fires at minimum. And then the actual launch, so that's 3. You divide 3 by the 30, you can get 10 launches in per year. But there are lawyers that have been talking through the NSF chat, the NASA spaceflight chat that I always recommend to you guys, that say that that's not, it has to be only 30 times a year. It's a recommendation. There's some gray area to it. I'm obviously not a lawyer, don't quote me, but that is what I understand when the experts are talking. I do have NSF going live over here next to me as we are awaiting the last full stack of Starship. Hopefully we get to full stacking here really soon, and then we're literally in a countdown to launch. And that's going to be an amazing thing to see. So, as of 2:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 12:55 Mountain, which is my time, the FAA granted the flight license for Starship. We are literally in a countdown to launch as of now. The window is a 2-hour window, and I'll explain why. So on Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time, 6 a.m. my time, Mountain Time, the launch window opens. The launch window is 2 hours, to my understanding. The reason for it, it's not like when when they do SpaceX launches right now with the Dragon to go up to ISS, where they have to launch at a specific time in a certain window, or else they miss the trajectory, essentially. It's not about that at all. This time it's about having complete daylight so that when the possibility of Starship re-entering the atmosphere somewhere around Hawaii takes place, SpaceX wants to be able to observe that take place and obviously study the results of it. This is assuming that we don't have some sort of anomaly take place, either A, on the pad, which would be the worst case scenario, or B, similar to last time over the Gulf. The projection is not even a full orbit. So if this thing takes off on Friday, it's going to go up and it's going to do like a 3/4 orbit and it's supposed to splash down just off the coast of Hawaii. It will essentially belly flop into the ocean at terminal velocity. So in theory, it should destroy itself upon hitting the water. If it does not, they can activate part of the flight termination system, the FTS, and try to blow it up that way. And if that doesn't work, they will airstrike it with fighter jets, essentially, and they will sink it. I know that that's going to sound really pollutant-y, but in theory, all the fuel will have been burnt off. They had to do a whole study about what the probability would be of hitting a shark or a whale in this process. They had to literally break down the probability. I don't have the numbers, but I know Elon had mentioned it, and NSF thought that it was a hilarious thing that is actually a part of their actual study packages. So it sounds like a pollutant, right? But what they're going to do with it essentially is once they sink it, the hope is that it becomes an artificial reef, which honestly, that's fine. Go for it. You know what I mean? Whatever helps underwater. And as long as they're not being contaminated by fuels and stuff like that, I think that there's nothing really to be concerned about. I'm sure that there will be some sort of regulation on whether or not people are allowed to dive and scrap on this ship, and whether or not there's regulations or not. You know, people are going to attempt to do it. So again, launch window is 7 a.m. Central Time to essentially 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm sure that there can be extensions in that window if they absolutely have to do so. And if not, they can scrub, essentially treat it as a wet dress rehearsal, and those windows will exist again Saturday and Sunday. And then I heard that it's like the 27th and 28th would be the next available times to do it based on the scrub ratios. As of 2 p.m. Mountain Time, the pressure plate was removed from the Starship, which is generally the last step that needs to take place before they restack it. And currently, NSF is reporting a SpaceX tweet. Let me see if I can pause their stream real quick so I can see exactly what it is that they said. So SpaceX said targeting Friday, November 17th for Starship's second test flight, a 2-hour launch window opens at 7 a.m. Central Time. So essentially everything that I just told you guys is exactly what SpaceX just tweeted out. The news is current, it is up to date, and we are doing the best we can on my end to keep all the information in. And again, if you guys are really interested in what's coming out right now, please run on over to NASA Spaceflight, their website, their YouTube, their Twitter. They have people all over this project at all times. Currently watching Trevor and Alex do NSF Live. They're doing an amazing job covering all the information and essentially reading a huge portion of Fish and Wildlife's 500-page packet that was sent out this morning. All right, guys, that is really all the information that I have, at least in this moment. And I will be fearless to go and dump out more videos as we start to get closer to this launch. With that being said, I intend to go live right here on Introverse Uncharted at, launch window opens at 6 my time. I will probably try to come on a little bit earlier than that, probably in the 5:30 window, and start to get ready for this possible launch. And I will give whatever coverage I can give here. I know I'm not technically able to live stream it as I don't have cameras out there, and a lot of people trademark and copyright their feeds and stuff like that. But I will give you guys at least point-to-point information as much as I can. Answer any questions that I possibly can. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can go off of all the research that I have heard at this point in time. Thank you guys so very much for tuning into this extremely exciting episode of breaking news with Introverse Uncharted as we count down officially to another Starship launch this upcoming Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time. And I will see you guys on launch day. See you later.